Hi friends, let us start a new topic, basic concepts of ethics and values. Now see here, this ethics topic is very dry. Now we have made the videos in a systematic manner so that you can understand this very easily and you can gulp it very easily. Before going into the main concept, let us be strong on the basic definitions and then we will go deep down, right? Focus a little bit on this. Now, before going into the main concept of ethics and values, we have to know about the types of organizations and some administrative rules so that you can understand the topic very well. So, we will start with types of organizations. Right now, there are possibly three types of organizations in any economy or your sovereign state, right? Sovereign state or country, both you can consider as same meaning, right? Now what are those three types, right? The first one is state, or you can call it as country, right? So I'll write down the points. Initially we might be slow because of your clear understanding, we are going slow, right? So focus on the topic. State, and you can call it as, sovereign states, you can call it as country. So the next type of organizations that you observe in an economy is profit making companies, right? So I'm writing down the points because we have to connect the things, right? And the third type of organization is not profit making companies. Not profit making companies, right? Now these are the three types of organizations that you can observe. Now let us come to the definitions of this and what the functions that these state profit making companies and not profit making companies do. The main motto of the state or country is to do governance, right? Now see here, the main motto of a state or country is to do governance, right? Now what is governance, right? Then governance is defined as the way state is exercising its authority, right? Governance is defined as the way state is exercising its authority. I'll write down the definitions, right? Because these are very important for your examination. Now see here, this year IES, all the questions on ethics are on basic definitions only. Right? Now governance means the way state is exercising its authority. Now let us connect the things. Now what is authority? Authority is nothing but power to take decisions. Power to take decisions. So I'm writing down the definitions, right? Now power or right to take decisions on behalf of people who elected, right? Now this is about state. Now what is the motive of profit making companies? Their main motto is nothing but it is self-explanatory. They are intended for maximizing their profits, right? So their main motto is to maximize profits. So I'll write down this point. Now what is the motive of this not profit making companies? Now these companies will assist the state in understanding the various problems and they provide solutions for public oriented services, right? Now see here, this not profit making companies will assist the state in various public oriented services. Now, for examples, your NGO, right? Non-governmental organizations. For example, I will explain one thing. Dr. Reddy Pharmaceuticals is a leading pharmaceutical chain. Now, it runs a non-governmental organization called Nandi Foundation. Now, this Nandi Foundation assists the state in sanitation for the public and also for providing pure drinking water in the remote villages. Now you got the point. What is the motive of not profit making companies? Done? Yes. Now the next, see here, whatever the things that has to be done by the state, the main motto is governance, right? That means exercising its authority. Now what will this not profit making companies and profit making companies do? Right? Now see here, one more point that you have to know. The services provided by other than state are known as public oriented services. Right? Now the services provided by other than state are called public oriented services. Now who does this? Not profit making companies does this. Public oriented service. Right? Now see here, next we will go to the next concept called types of administration. Right? So we are a little bit slow because you have to understand this. Types of administration. Now, till now we have discussed about organizations. Now we will discuss about types of administrations. Now there will be 4 types of administrations in general. Now the first type, what you speak it as general administration, right? I'll write like this: general administration. The second one is governance. And the third one is good governance, and the fourth one is smart governance, right? And the third one is good governance. And the fourth one is smart governance. Now, we will discuss in detail regarding this 4. Now, what is administration? Now, in administration, state and citizen is related by a term called control. Now, administration is a one-way process, right? Your people cannot control the state. Now, see here, I will write in a schematic representation. You can understand it very easily. Now, state and citizen are related by a term called control. Right? State has control on citizens, but citizen doesn't have control on state. So that's why it is one-way process. So that's why I gave only a forward arrow, right? And that's itself is self-explanatory, right? Now, next, governance. Now see here, already we have discussed about the basic definition of governance, which is nothing but the way state is exercising its authority is called governance, right? Now see here, this governance is nothing but a reversible, I mean two-way process, right? Now see here, I'll explain this. State, citizen. Now state will regulate the citizen, I mean control, the other word we call it as citizen. Now in governance what happens? Citizens participate in the programs taken part by the government. Now this is called governance. Right? Now this participation will be at what stage? Feedback for the policies, right? Feedback of policies. Now I think this is very clean explanation. Now how many types of work this state performs? There are three types of work performed by the state during this process of governance. Now what are these three types of work? One is policy making, and second one is policy implementation, and the third one is policy restructuring, right? Now see here, I'll write down the points here. Now during the governance, I mean exercising its authority, there are three works performed by the government state. Now state performs policy making. Now they will draft the policy, right? Now after drafting the policy, what happens? It implements the policy, policy implementation. And the third one, policy restructuring, right? After taking the feedback from the citizen level, they will restructure it. Restructuring. Now this is called the work performed by the state. Now as I said earlier, governance is a two-way process. Now, and again I have given the definition. Now here both state and citizen will be participated. Now next we will go to next concept called good governance in the next slide. Now what is this good governance? Now this good governance is also a two-way process, but what's the extra point that you can add in this governance? Now see here, state is helping to process the citizens' work. Now it facilitates, right? Now see here, now I will write down the point here. It facilitates. Now in governance it regulates. In good governance, state, citizen. Now it facilitates the policies, right, to the citizen. Now what is this facilitation? State is helping to the process the citizens work, right? Now it helps the citizen to formulate the process, right? Now in the backward manner, what citizens will do to the state? In the backward manner, what citizens will do to the state? Now they participate at policy feedback and also at policy making level. Now this is the thing, right? Now you can understand this facilitation meaning, right? Now before drafting the policy, this state considers the words taken by the citizens, right? Now citizens will participate and also give feedback to the policies. This is called good governance, right? Now, the next concept what we will deal is smart governance. Now, what is this smart governance? Now, see here, in smart governance, state will be facilitating to citizen. Now it is forward manner. In the backward manner, what citizens do? People are hired and trained and used as government officers for some time for the work to be discharged. Now this is the facilitation done by the citizen to the state, right? Now see here again, I will write down this in the schematic manner. State and citizen. Now what does the state do? Right, the state will be responsive. Now what is responsive? Can anybody? Ability to react quickly. Ability to react quickly. Right. Now what citizens does to the state? Now see here, they will involve in the policy making. They will, participate and involve in the policy making, and also they will give the feedback regarding the policy, and also they will work on policy implementation. Right, now got the point? Now they involve, they participate, and give feedback to the policy, and they also participate in policy implementation. Now see here, got the difference between the all these three? Policy implementation. Now for this policy implementation, what government does? Now government trains the citizens, and they are used for the policy implementation work. Right, now see here, what is the exact difference between participation and involvement? Can you get that? Right, we have wrote two words there, participation and implementation. Now what is the exact difference between participation and involvement? Now see here, the difference between participation and implementation is, or involvement is, now see here, involvement, implementation, or we call it as involvement. What is the exact difference? The term, see here, belongingness comes here, right? Belongingness. Now in participation, you doesn't own yourself, right? But involvement, you own yourself, that this is our work. Now this is the exact difference between participation and involvement. Now presently our states and countries are in smart governance stage. Now this governance word is coined by World Bank. Right, now see here, in India the term governance concept became popular in late 90s. Now government have induced this concept perfectly in 1997. Right, done. Now see here, in 1990s government have started the concept of governance. In 1997 government have increased from governance to good governance. Now presently we are at smart governance stage, right? Now why it is called smart governance stage, right? Now see here, at every stage and every policy, people participation and involvement is being made by the government, right? Now see here, many acts. Now for example, I will explain you one act, Competition Commission Act. Now before 2002 there is no such act. Now why it is formed? Due to the cartel formation of the manufacturers, right? Now see here, we know a present cartel called OPEC cartels, right? OPEC means Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Now all these countries form a ring, a syndicate, and they fix the price of the oil, and they increase or decrease based on their wish. Now this will lead to chaos in many countries, right? See, due to this rise and surge of fuel prices, all your primary good prices will be affected. And also see here, likewise, if all the dish TV companies form a cartel and fix a price that you have to buy for 1,000, now how many can buy for 1,000? Is this a cartel formation? Now in order to break that cartel by taking the points from the people, citizens, government have started this act called Competition Act, right? Now there is a commission called Competitive Commission of India. CCI. Now see here how the smart governance has happened, right? And also your technology reforms also helped in smart governance concept, right? Now let us go into the main concept called ethics, right? So I'll go into from the next slide. Now based on this, we will go to the core concept, ethics. Now what is ethics? Now ethics is defined as, it refers to well-founded standards of right and wrong, and prescribes what humans ought to do in terms of rights, benefits to the society, fairness and justice, etc. Now this is the exact definition, right? Now see here, I'll crux down the point. Now this is very important. Now ethics refers to the well-founded standards of right and wrong. Exclamatory mark, right and wrong. And prescribes what humans ought to do. Now this is the exact definition of ethics. Well-founded standards of right and wrong, and prescribes what humans ought to do. Now in what? In terms of rights, benefits to society, I'll write down two examples, right? Benefits to society, right? Fairness, justice, right? All these comes under the prescribed things. Now see here, this ethics will guide the human behavior in terms of saving the rights and appreciating the existence of humans animals, natural resources, ecology and environment. Right? Now, the term ethics, due to these founding standards, it guide the human behavior, how to behave with your fellow persons, fellow animals, fellow natural resources and the ecology that it surrounds it. Right? And also one more point, ethics evaluate human actions or examines human behavior. Now this is very important point, I'll write down this. Ethics evaluate human action or you call it as human behavior. Right? Now this is the point. Now why this ethics? What is the essence of ethics? Now there are two essence of ethics. One is standards, I mean benchmarks. Now today what we call in corporates is benchmarks. And the next one is principles through which these standards are being implemented. Right? Now the essence of ethics, there are two essence of ethics. One is standards. Now I'll write down this point, right? And the next one is principles through which these standards are being implemented. Now these are the two essence of ethics. Right? Now see here how these principles are formulated and how these principles are explained. For the essence of ethics is the main crux of this topic, right? Now there are 5 principles for implementation of these standards. Now let us discuss each and every principle in detail, right? This is very important for your examination. Now focus on this. The first principle is utilitarian approach, right? Utilitarian approach. Now see here, please be focused on this because this is very dry topic. You have to be focused on this, right? Now what this utilitarian approach says, now in this approach, benefits to maximum number of individuals and harm to minimum number of individuals has to be focused, while providing benefits to maximum number of individuals, even some harm to some individuals is justified in this approach. Right? Now see here your government projects. Now when you want to have an 10-lane road which helps you to increase the infrastructure, which increases the economic standards of the people living around the surround area, which increases your transport feasibility very well, when you are getting 10 to 20 benefits on this, if one injustice happens to the minimum number of individuals, then there is not at all a problem for this standard to be approached. Right? Now this is the essence of this utilitarian approach. Now see here, I will crux down this utilitarian approach in one point, right? Now in this approach, benefits to maximum individuals and harm to minimum number of individuals through your policy making, right, must be focused. Your focus must be on this, right? In this utilitarian approach, the focus must be in this. Now see here, even though some harm is justified in this utilitarian approach. Our common template Bollywood movies will be an utilitarian approach, right? Now examples, your various government projects, right? Got the point? Now the next one is rights approach. The next principle, there are totally 5 principles. The next one is rights approach. Now I will crux down this also in single point, but I will explain it in detail. Now what is this rights approach? Now in this rights approach, main focus is on the rights of the individual. That is, even the right of a single individual cannot be encroached by performing a activity. Right? Example, your human right activities. Right? Now see here, I will crux down this into one point. Even a right of single individual must not be encroached. Must not be encroached means must not be barred. Got the point? Now this is called rights approach. Now examples are your human rights. Even if you harm one single individual, now this is against our rights approach, right? Now human rights. Any other examples? And the institutions focusing on human rights, right? Your PETA, right? Even a single animal must not be harmed, right? Example, your PETA for animals. Done. Now this is rights approach. Now let us discuss the remaining approaches in the next video. Thank you.